Hello everyone, it's Cameron, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be doing my Everly Brothers vinyl collection, so this is going to be quite a big one. It's something I've been meaning to do for a while, something I've been meaning to do for a few years, but I never really got around to doing it. But then, of course, with Don Everly's recent passing, I felt like I'd like to do the video as an honour to the Everly Brothers. So, yeah, we're going to go over the 7-inch singles and all the albums and stuff. Now, this may be a two-parter because we've got quite a lot of albums and records to cover. So, there'll be quite a lot to cover here, so it might be a two-parter. So, anyways, we'll just get on with this. So, first one up is the singles. This is Wake Up Little Susie, 1957 on London with Maybe Tomorrow. All I Have to Do Is Dream, 1958 on London with Claudette, which is a song that Roy Orbison had written for them. Bird Dog and Devoted to You, 1958. Problems, 1958 on London with Love of My Life. What great songs these ones. Poor Jenny, Take a Message to Mary, 1959 on London. Till I Kissed You and Oh What a Feeling, both are written by Don Everly. Because some of these are written by Phil and Don, some are written by a couple of people they knew called Boogaloo and Felice Bryant, who were A.K.F. Rose songwriters, and they wrote songs for a lot of people. Roy Orbison, the Everly Brothers, those kind of people. Let It Be Me, which is one of my favourite Everly songs, and Since You Broke My Heart. Okay, and then in 1960, the Everly Brothers changed from London in the UK to Cadence in America. From London in the UK, Cadence in America, to Warner Brothers on both sides of the Atlantic. So, first one up was Kathy's Clown in 1960 with Always It's You. That's a really great song. And then London and Cadence put out two singles that they had recorded before they'd left for Warner Brothers. When Will I Be Loved, which is a song that Phil wrote, and Bebopalula, which is a song from their first album. Like Strangers, one of my favourites, with Leave My Woman Alone on London. Now we're going back to the Warner Brothers singles. Walk Right Back, one of my favourites, 1961, with Ebony Eyes. Temptation, 1961, Stick With Me Baby. And I have another one of that, but I think the other one's in a bit better condition. Muskrat and Don't Blame Me. I did not pay £7 for that, even though it says it on the sleeve. I got it out of the Messing Record Shop in Glasgow, and probably in a previous price. It's Everly Time EP with what kind... Oh, I'm holding it the wrong way about. Just In Case, and I Want You to Know on side 1, and on side B, What Kind of Girl Are You and Some Sweet Day. All these songs are taken from the It's Everly Time album, which we'll talk about later on. Crying in the Rain, one of my favourites. Not the White Snake song, but it is a really good song. With I'm Not Angry, 1961, I think? Yeah, 1961. I think 62. No One Can Make My Sunshine Smile, 1962, with Don't Ask Me to Be Friends. Really like that B-side. The Ferris Wheel, 1964. Don't Forget to Cry, one of my favourite ones. Missing quite a lot of Everly singles. The Price of Love, and It Only Costs a Dime, 1965. Again, it's got an £8 price on it. I did not pay £8 for that. It was lower than that. And they've changed labels. Love is Stranged and Man with Money, 1965. And the last Warner Brothers single I have is It's My Time, 1968, and Empty Boxes. And I've got another EP, which I'm not too sure about this one actually. This is tracks taken from the very best of the Everly Brothers. One side we have Crying in the Rain and Kathy's Clown, and the other side we have Bye Bye Love and All I Have to Do Is Dream. So I'm not sure about this one, but I know it's an EP. I got this from a record shop in Walthamstow, England years ago. So yeah, not sure what that's all about. Kathy's Clown and Walk Right Back. This is an 80s reissue that I bought from an Edinburgh charity shop. And this is like a little mini long play album. This has Wake Up Little Susie, Bird Dog Until I Kiss You on side 1. On side 2 we have All I Have to Do Is Dream, Problems and Love, Bye Bye Love as well. So yeah, this is on Scoop. It's at LP Speed. It's like a little 7-inch, I think. I don't know a great deal about this one. I found this in my Salcoats record shop. It's got quite a nice picture though. I do quite like that picture. See? Before I show the two Phil Everly Soul singles, I'm going to show you this one. This is the Everly Brothers and On the Wings of a Nightingale. This is their 1984 kind of comeback single that was written by Paul McCartney. It's a really good song. It's from their Everly Brothers 1984 reunion album on Mercury with Asleep on the Other Side, which is also from the same album. Okay, next one we have Phil Everly. These are the Phil Everly solo ones. This is Dare to Dream Again with Lonely Days, Lonely Nights on Epic 1981. And a duet with Cliff Richard, She Means Nothing to Me, with A Man and a Woman, which are both from his one of his solo albums, which I forgot, which I'll show you as we get to the albums. Okay, that's it for the 7-inch singles. Now we're going to talk about the albums now. Okay, now we're going over the albums now. So we have, this is the Everly Brothers, just called the Everly Brothers, as it says at the top. They're off and rolling, says Archie. That was Archie Bly, who was their producer at Cadence Records. So, yeah, pretty good debut album. I mean, we've got This Little Girl of Mine and the big hits, Bye Bye Love, Wake Up Little Susie. There's other great ones in here like I Wonder If I Care As Much, which was the B-side of Bye Bye Love. Brand New Heartache as well. Should We Tell Them was good as well. Yeah, this is a mono original, London, 1958. Cover's not in the best of condition, I'm afraid. It's quite grimy, it's a bit discoloured. But, you know, I got this from an urban charity shop years ago, so, yeah. It's on London Records. Not in brilliant condition either, the record, but it's nice to have, really, as a collector's piece. It's 1958, so it's probably the oldest, the earliest album, the oldest album out of my collection that I own. And, yeah, it's quite, still quite nice to have, actually, an original pressing of their debut. And it's quite a cool cover with them on the motorbike and their guitars there, so yeah. And their names were, that's Phil and that's Don. Okay, I don't have their album songs Our Daddy Taught Us. I'm hopefully going to try and get a copy of that one. We're going to have to skip to the Warner Brothers years though with It's Everly Time, their first album from Warner Brothers in 1960. This is a Canadian import in mono, which I was really pleased to find in a track shop years ago. And I really like So Sad to Watch Good Love Go Bad, which was a big hit. Other great ones include Memories Are Made of This, Sleepless Nights, You Thrill Me Through and Through is great as well. That's What You Do to Me is great as well. And I Want You to Know is great as well. So at the back. Quite nice cover in the front there. This is a mono on Warner Brothers, but it's a Canadian copy. I didn't have a sleeve. I don't think I had a sleeve when I got this, but I just gave it the sleeve. Yeah, quite nice blue Warner Brothers label design, which I quite like. And the record's made out of. It's got quite a different. It's quite a thick. It feels like a 78 in a sense. It feels like one of those 78 records. But it's still quite cool to have this one. A Canadian import in mono of an Everly Brothers album, which is quite cool. So I got this back in 2018 in a charity shop in a wee little place in England called Prudhoe, which is near where one of my aunts and uncles live. Okay, I've got another It's Everly Time, but this is a different copy. This is a stereo one, and it's, I think it could be a late 80s reissue. I bought this years ago at a record shop in a place called Guildford in Surrey in England. But it was just cheap at the time. It's got a bit of a dent in this corner, but it's not too bad. And it's on this Warner Brothers label. It's stereo, originally came out in 1960. This could be an 80s reissue, because I know that during the 70s and 80s, these albums were re-released, and I've got quite a few of these, which I'm going to show as the video goes along. Okay, and the next one I have is A Date with the Everly Brothers. This is an original mono from 1960, which is a pretty cool thing to have. Quite like the cover for this one, it's quite nice. It's Phil in the phone box and Don sort of watching. That's quite a nice cover. I really like this one. This is another really great album, I must admit. This is a really great album. Made to Love's great, which you can hear Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers sing that song. Stick With Me Baby's great as well. Always It's You is great. Love Hurts, which is what Roy Orbison later done on one of his albums. Lucille, that's one of their big hits. So How Come No One Loves Me, which the Beatles done on one of their BBC sessions. Donna Donna's great as well. A Change of Heart's really good too. And the big hit Kathy's Clown. The whole album is just really good. And it's a gatefold sleeve, one of the earliest gatefold albums, I believe, alongside Beatles for Sale in 1964. It's got some nice pictures there. The back. And this comes out of the top like this. I bought this from a record shop in Ayr, a record fair in Ayr back in 2017. There's the label on Warner Brothers, in this Warner Brothers label. And the record's in really good condition for its age, and it plays really well. I haven't played it for many years, but I definitely need to give it another play. But as you can see, there's actually not a bad scratch on it. It's in pretty good condition. It plays really well. Yeah, barely a bad scratch on it. It's in pretty good condition, which I was really impressed with. So yeah, a good purchase there, definitely. And it's definitely real collectors now, since with the passings of both the Everly Brothers. It's probably now probably going to be a big collector's piece, I reckon. But I would never really get rid of it because it's the Everly Brothers. So yeah, there's that one. Got quite a really nice one. So, date with the Everly Brothers from 1960. Then London and / Cadence Record put this out. This is the Fabulous Style of the Everly Brothers, which is a 1960 album of songs. Now, the UK and US had a very different track listing to what it was. They put like different singles and different songs on the US version, as well as songs from the first LP. But this one's got songs that were never on albums in the UK. So, for instance, All I Have to Do Is Dream, and Claudette, and Devoted to You, Bird Dog, and Problems, and Love of My Life. They're on the UK edition, whereas the US version replaced them with Since You Broke My Heart, Let It Be, Me, Brand New Heartache, Rip It Up, Hey Doll Baby, and Bebopalula. Not too sure why they did that for some reason. But again, this one is mono on London. This one isn't in particularly great condition either. It's quite discoloured. It's meant to be like white, but it's actually quite... I know it doesn't show on well in the camera, but it is quite... It's quite yellowed off. It's mono 1960 on London, and the record isn't in too great condition either. It is quite scratchy, very crackly, and I think a couple of songs do skip. But I have some of these songs elsewhere on compilations albums, which I'll show as the video goes along again, like I say. But it's nice to have this one. It might not be in the greatest of condition, but it's still nice to have. I got this in an eBay job lot of Everly Brothers albums a few years ago when I started collecting their albums. So there's that one, and this one's quite a special one actually. This is Both Sides of an Evening. I really like that cover for this one. Quite a nice painting of the Everly Brothers. Back. This is a USA copy from 1961 in stereo on Warner Brothers. So quite a nice thing to have. It's actually another pretty good album, I must admit. It's got side 1, you have songs for dancing, and side 2, you get songs for dreaming. So side 1 you can get up and dance to, and side 2 you can just sit and relax. But yeah, loads of great ones here, like really like Muskrat, which was one of the big hits. Bully of the Town, Mention My Name in Shebogan, My Grandfather's Clock, Hi Lily, Hi Low, Don't Blame Me, When I Grow Too Old to Dream. Yeah, there's some pretty good stuff in this album. 1961, I found this in an Edinburgh charity shop, which was pretty cool. This was actually one of the earliest Everly Brothers records I think I got. I think it was back in 2016 I got it. There's the inner sleeve with Warner Brothers catalogue on it. So as you can see, there's It's Everly Time and Date with the Everly Brothers. And this is on Warner Brothers in stereo on this gold label. And it actually plays really well for its age as well. There's actually not that many bad scratches in this one. No, actually, that doesn't have a bad scratch. There's actually a couple of marks in there, but it actually played really well. It played really well for its age, and the cover and record are in very good condition. So, again, another great collector's item in that good condition. You're probably never going to get that for a good price anywhere these days, but really, really nice to have. Next, we have Instant Party. This is another UK original mono on Warner Brothers. I don't know about this one too much, but I do know the song Temptation, and I heard Step It Up and Go because it was on the Reunion Concert album. See, I don't really know. I know that Temptation replaces a song on the US in the US edition, UK edition are different. I didn't realise this until years later, but Temptations on the UK editions, but not on the US editions, are different songs in the US edition. I'm not too sure about it. I can't exactly remember what the difference is between them, but there's the back. And this is a Warner Brothers mono 1962. And yeah, pretty good condition actually. Because I remember seeing a copy years ago in a charity shop in Ardrossan where I live. But it didn't have a sleeve and the record was absolutely gubbed and absolutely scratched, and I didn't buy it. But I got a really nice, really good copy of this one. Original mono from 62, which is, you know, considering I found it after Don Everly passed and for a pretty good price. Yeah, definitely, you know. I think I bought this the week after Don had died. I think it was about a £5 from the Missing Record Shop in Glasgow. So yeah, really good purchase there. Okay, we've got a compilation, another compilation. This is the Golden Hits of the Everly Brothers. Now this contains the first few Warner Brothers singles up to That's Old Fashioned or How Can I Meet, and I'm not sure what side was what. But this is another mono from the 60s. Yeah, pretty good compilation. It's a fairly good representation of the Everly Brothers recordings on Warner Brothers up to that point. There's a picture of them in the studio. Again, mono 1962. Yeah, 1962. Quite a nice cover as well, actually. This is a British one. There's in a sleeve. There's the Everly Brothers there again. But I think this could be a later one because it talks about some of the albums that didn't come out till later. I don't exactly know. But it's on this gold Warner Brothers label, which is quite a nice design. These 60s Warner Brothers labels, quite a nice gold look to them. And mono, again, like I say. Quite a nice one to have there. And I have a later copy. This is the first copy that I bought actually. This is from again, I think it's from the 80s, though I'm not exactly 100% sure. It's a bit brighter in colour than the mono one. As you can see, that was quite bright, and this one's quite dark. This one's kind of like gold, and that one's more like yellowish looking. And this is a stereo copy from the 80s, I think it's stereo. Yeah, it's stereo. There's a label there on the 80s. I think it's 80s Warner Brothers label. I bought this from a charity shop in where was it? A place called Godalming in England when I was down there for a few days. I was down in Surrey for a few days and I went to a wee charity shop in Godalming and I bought it. So yeah, quite a nice purchase to find. Okay, and this is another really good one. This is the Everly Brothers Sing Great Country Hits. This is 1963. Another really good album. This is a really good one. Really love this one. This is actually one of my favourite Everly's albums. I like their version of Old Lonesome Me, Born to Lose, Just One Time. Their version of Johnny Cash's I Walk the Line's really good. Lonely Street's good too. Sweet Dreams, and This Is the Last Song I'm Ever Going to Sing's a good one. Yeah, pretty good album. Really enjoyed this one. And a really good one. Again, like the stereo It's Everly Time and the stereo Golden Hits of the Everly Brothers. This is another 80s reprint, I think, in stereo on this label. Again, I bought this the same day as I bought the stereo Golden Hits of the stereo It's Everly Time, or around about the same time, I think. It's strange, it's got the mono catalogue number, but the record is in stereo. It doesn't say stereo on the sleeve anyway for some strange reason. I know this is manufactured in Germany, so I think the other ones that I've shown are also manufactured in Germany, or at least round about Europe. Okay, and again, this is one of my favourite Everly's ones, one of the earliest ones I owned. The Very Best of the Everly Brothers. This is a 1964 compilation in mono. I think this is an original. Now, half of these consist of Cadence and Warner Brothers songs. However, the Cadence songs have been re-recorded. Basically, the record label Warner Brothers were keen to have a collection of both the Cadence and the Warner Brothers years. But Andy Williams, who had also been a Cadence recording artist, had gone to Cadence and asked Archie Blyer, founder and producer for Cadence Records, to buy the Cadence masters, which Andy was actually asking for his Cadence masters, but he ended up getting sold the whole Cadence library, including the Everly Brothers, so there was no way of accessing these songs. So Warner Brothers, I think, were quite keen to have a copy of some of these songs, so they went into the studio and re-recorded them. And it's pretty good versions, but yeah, they do have some of the Warner Brothers songs as well. The ones that I re-recorded are Bye Bye Love, Till I Kissed You, Wake Up Little Susie, Bird Dog, All I Have to Do Is Dream, and Devoted to You. And they're pretty good versions of these ones. And this is Mono 1964 on the gold Warner Brothers label, and in pretty good condition. It still plays really well too, which I'm really impressed with. Quite like that design. Yeah, really good record. If you're even not a fan of the Everly Brothers, it's still worth getting a best of, you know, just to have like a history of rock and roll music in like your collection, which I often have, but now I've become quite a big Everly Brothers fan. It's you know, it's hard to, you know, it's, yeah, something I've really done is get the albums. And I've got another copy of that one. This cover is a bit brighter than that one, but like the golden hits of the Everly Brothers, they're quite brighter in colour. And this is stereo. I think this is a 70s copy of the album. It doesn't have any like the flip back sleeves as the 60s do. This is just a generic one, and it's on this green Warner Brothers label, which I'm not particularly. It's an alright design, but there've been better Warner Brothers label designs. I'm missing Gone 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 as well from 1964, but hopefully we'll get there. And we have Rock and Soul. This is actually another pretty good album, I'd say. This is 1965. Quite a nice cover design. I really like this cover. That'll Be the Day is a good cover. Dancing in the Street's pretty good too. The version of Love Hurts is alright. Lonely Weekends is a good song. Hound Dog, Slipping and Sliding, I Got a Woman's good too. Not a bad album. It's actually pretty good. It's okay. And I'm Gonna Move to the Outskirts of Town's pretty good too. So yeah. And again, this is Warner Brothers, and this is also an 80s re-release that has been manufactured in Europe in stereo. Originally came out in 1965. It's got this, please join the Everly Brothers International in the Netherlands. So it's promoting a fan club in the Netherlands, but the record says manufactured in Germany. I'm not sure what this is all about. I know that this is a European re-release in the 80s. But I don't know a great deal about these. I know they were re-released at some point in the early 80s. So if anybody knows any information about these re-releases, then let me know in the comments below, because I'm not too sure about some of my Everly's ones. Quite confusing. But anyways, next one up is Beat and Soul. I got this online. I actually like this one over Rock and Soul a bit more, but Rock and Soul's still good, but I think I prefer this one a bit more. We've got Love is Strange, the big hit single. Money, That's What I Want, great. Money is great too. So is What Am I Living For? Lonely Avenue, CC Rider, Man with Money, People Get Ready, I Almost Lost My Mind. Yeah, there's pretty good stuff in this album. Quite like that. It's got the sticker down that says concludes the smash hit Love is Strange. Quite a nice picture in the front of Phil and Don. Mono copy again, and that's quite a nice picture of them in the studio. The Big Beat and Plenty of Soul of the Everly Brothers. Beat and Soul, quite a good one. And this is, and it's got somebody's name on it, David E. Rankin. So he must have had this record before I did, which is quite interesting. Anyways, there's the sleeve there. I think this is original because it advertised Rock and Soul, Beat and Soul, and the golden hits of the Everly Brothers. This came out at the same time. I'm not 100% sure. And again, the gold Warner Brothers labels. This one's in okay condition. There's quite a few scratches on it, but it plays okay. Still listenable. Fortunately, a lot of these 60s ones may look a bit scratchy, but they actually sound okay. They actually play okay. You know, a bit of crackling, but nothing really major. No skips or anything. Next we have In Our Image. Another pretty good album. Again, Mono, 1966. I really like this album. I really like Leaving My Girl Alone, Why Am I Chained to a Memory, I'll Never Get Over You, The Price of Love, It's All Over, I Used to Love You, and It Only Costs a Dime. Some pretty good stuff in this album. This is one that my mum got me in a charity shop, along with the Mono golden hits of the Everly Brothers. Quite a nice picture in the back of them there. It's got another name on it, Moira McCann. I'm not sure Moira is. Moira probably had this record before I did too. Again, Mono, original 1966, in just a plain white in a sleeve. And there's the label there. I've been very fortunate with some of these Everly Brothers ones. I've been able to find some of the 60s Mono copies of these albums, something which I didn't think I'd be owning. to be honest, because a lot of these have been quite difficult to find for some time. And when I started collecting these, some of these were quite tricky to get hold of. But I've done well so far, and I'm still hoping that journey of finding the Everly Brothers albums continues. And long may it continue. And I have a stereo copy of Inner Image, slightly later one. It's a bit brighter than the mono one. As you can see, there is a tone difference. I mean, that's quite orangey red, whereas that one's like a dark red, and the pictures on the back are quite... That one's a lot brighter, whereas that one's a bit darker. So yeah, a bit of a difference between this one. You can't really see much of Phil and Don's faces on this one, whereas you can on this copy. This is again another one of those 80s re-releases in stereo from the 80s on this Warner Brothers label. This was actually the first copy of it I had. I think I had this back in 2016 again. Yeah, it's a pretty good album. 1966. Again, I'm also missing Two Yanks in England, and I think that one's quite a hard one to find as well, but fingers crossed we'll get there. Then we have The Hit Sound of the Everly Brothers. Again, another pretty good album. 1967. Quite like the cover for this one. A lot of these Everly Brothers ones are quite cool for the covers. This is a stereo, not a mono this time. I really like Blueberry Hill. Moving on, Trains, Planes and Boats, Sea of Heartbreak. Their cover of Buddy Holly's Old Boy is really good. So is I'd Be a Legend in My Time. She Never Smiles Anymore, and Good Golly Miss Molly is good as well. So is Let's Go Get Stoned is the songs there. There's the back. And this is a stereo copy, not a mono copy. This is 1967 now. There we are. But still on the gold Warner Brothers label. Okay, there's that one. Okay, I'll show a couple more and then we'll wrap up for part 2. I know quite a long video so far, but we're nearly there. Don't worry, we're nearly there. I'm missing the Everly Brothers Sing as well. That's got the song Bowling Green on it. That is a really, really hard one to get hold of. I'm hoping that they reissue all the Warner Brothers albums, so I could probably get potentially have a copy of some of the ones that are missing. You never know one day. But we have Roots, the Everly Brothers Roots. And I really like this cover. It's quite a nice cover of Phil and Don sitting in a, looks like a country field or something. I'm not too sure. It's in a sunny day, and I quite like the hills in the background. That's quite a nice cover. This is an 80s reissue. It originally came out in 1986. This is a 1980s, I think, reissue. Pretty good album. I really like Less of Me, Mama Tried, Shady Grove, Illinois. Swimming Back Home is pretty good. Not a bad album. They're kind of like going back to their roots, because you can hear some of the dialogue of the Everly Brothers family show as well, which got them quite noticed. And there's a photograph of them there. That's their mother, Margaret, Don, Phil, and their father, Ike. See, quite nice pictures there. This would have been on Warner Brothers, but it's actually on Edsel. It says 1986. So this is a 1986 reissue on Edsel Records. I bought this from a record shop in Newcastle a few years ago. Yeah, it's nice to have. And obviously it'll say stereo because it doesn't say mono anywhere. So it's obviously going to be stereo. And again, it's probably 80s because there's a barcode in the back, which, yeah. But it's still quite nice to have a copy of Roots from 1968. And I've got a few compilations to show. Actually, we'll show this one and then we'll do part 2. This is the Everly Brothers show. This is a live album taken from a concert they done at the Grand Hotel in Einaham. By this point, their career had fell off. They weren't really selling as many records as they used to, and they were now converted into a cabaret show act. So going to hotels and playing at hotels and doing this and that. It's actually an okay live album. Pretty good. 1970. This is the last LP that they would release for Warner Brothers as their contract expired. Songs are along the bottom there. Some pretty interesting ones. They even include some Beatles in their medleys, like Hey Jude and Give Peace a Chance, and The End, which is from the Abbey Road album, and Rock and Roll Music, which is a Chuck Berry song, as well as like their hits. They do quite a few interesting stuff here. So yeah, pretty good album. Double album set. This is probably a late 70s reissue because it's on this Warner Brothers label. It's quite a nice design, I must admit, with the Burbank home of Warner Brothers Records and the trees there. It's got side 1 on this side and side 4 on that side. And the other records have 2 and 3. The other LP is identical, so I won't show that. try and get that in. All done. There we are. So that does it for part 1. Hope you've enjoyed this video so far, and we will see you for part 2.